Veggietales, 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 Veggietales. Veggietales was one of my favorite shows growing up. If you don't know what Veggietales was, basically it was a pre-Pixar CGI animated show about talking vegetables that would preach the Bible. It sounds really, really weird when I describe it that way, but it's actually really, really good. The characters were great, the music was great, the jokes were funny.
You know, Bob, email, aren't you wired, online, surfing the web? HTML, good buddy.
Oh, I got cable last month.
You are so early 90s.
I would think you would be hard-pressed to find anyone who passionately dislikes this show. Even people who aren't Christian still really like this show. I think what made this show stick out from other Christian shows is that you didn't need to be religious to enjoy the show. It was just genuinely funny and charming to watch. However, along with being funny, the thing I remember most about Veggietales is how scary it was at times. Something about the late 90s CGI mixed with VHS quality made the show genuinely creepy when I don't think it was supposed to be. I was pretty easily frightened as a child. I was scared of Venom from Spider-Man 3. I was scared of 80% of Super Mario Galaxy, especially those weird caterpillar things. I was scared of the Aladdin 2 where Jafar gets murdered at the end. But I don't think I'm alone on thinking Veggietales was kind of scary. I asked multiple people if they were scared of Veggietales growing up, and everyone gave me a different answer. Some people said the rumor weed episode, other people said the Esser episode, some people said the episode where they join a cult accidentally and almost get burned alive. But the episode that always freaked me out the most was the Big Fib episode. I was terrified of this episode, man. There was a period of time where this was the scariest thing I had ever seen in my life. I could not even look at the box cover of the VHS without getting freaked out. It was that bad. So without further ado, let's get into the episode to see what made it so weird and disturbing. There's a weird looking asteroid thingy, and scientists are scared, so they call LarryBoy. LarryBoy's the superhero of this episode. Every episode had a theme. One episode that did a parody of Monty Python. There's one that did a parody of Madame Bovary. Anyway, this episode's parody theme is Batman. And a parody of Batman is LarryBoy. The weird looking asteroid thing crashes down to Earth and starts bouncing on the road. I don't think that it would just bounce like a tennis ball if it was falling from space, but I guess physics don't apply to Veggietale world. And then we see the thing's face up close and it looks really freaking weird. And I hate its design. The thing about the Veggietales art style is that it actually holds up fairly okay in modern day. Some of the earlier episodes look kind of wonky, but I would say for the most part, it doesn't look too ugly today, especially when you compare it to other things of the 90s. But the one thing about the Veggietale art style is that the only thing that ever looks good are the veggies, because the veggies are so cartoony and exaggerated that it helps them stand the test of time. But anything that wasn't a veggie looks really freaking weird. Something about this fib thing's design has just never set well with me. I hate the dark purple design. It's weird antenna thingy. I don't know, it has little dots all over its face. It just looks, it looks weird to me. I don't know. Can't really put it into words. It's always freaked me out. It's not too bad in the beginning of the episode, but it gets way worse later on. Anyway, then the fib jumps away and we flash forward to the daytime, where Junior Asparagus is playing with his friend Laura the Carrot. I remember my sister always thought Junior was a girl because he plays Tea Party with Laura, but then my other sister was like, nah, he's just playing his cards right for the future. So they need a plate for their party, and Junior suggests using his dad's signed bowling plate, and Laura's like, nah, we shouldn't do that because it's pretty high up. Junior does it anyway because he is a moron. His utter stupidity is the catalyst for both LarryBoy episodes. But then he breaks the plate, and then Laura ditches him because she is a terrible friend. Then he's alone and scared, and then he hears this weird voice talking to him.
Hey, kid. Looks like you got a problem.
Huh? Who said that?
This episode made me scared that a random voice would just start talking to me if I was ever alone. Anyway, the voice is the Fib creature, and he has a New Jersey accent for some reason.
But of course I can talk. Actually, the name is Fibrilius Minimus, but you can call me Fib.
He tells Junior that all he needs to do is lie to his dad and he won't get in trouble. Junior is apprehensive about this at first, but he gets so scared of his dad when he comes home that he decides to take the Fib's advice. Junior sings a song about how Laura broke the plate.
It's Laura's fault. She broke the plate. I tried to stop her. She said she had to demonstrate her apple chopper.
And if you slow down the song, you can actually see the Fib like stretching out for one scene. Junior's dad believes Junior without questioning anything because he is also a moron. And then the Fib comes out and he's way bigger than he was before. And Junior is like, aren't you bigger? And he's like, no, not really. And then they go out to have more fun. And it's like, ooh, Junior's going down a bad path, isn't he?
That's my boy. Come on, kid. Let's go have some more fun.
Alrighty, I'm with you all the way, Fib.
Then we see LarryBoy looking for the Fib, and he passes right by it. How silly. Then Junior finds his pea friend Percy, and Percy asks him about the plate, and for some reason he lies to Percy. I don't really understand this because it's not like Percy can get him in trouble. But anyway, he lies to him and sings another song about how Laura broke the plate. And then the Fib comes out, and now he's even bigger than he was before, and he looks so creepy.
Oh, no. Well, maybe I put on a few pounds, but Junior, I will always be your little Fib.
He was little, he was at least kind of cute in a way. But now that he's like big and fat, he's just like, I don't even know how to describe him. He just looks gross to look at. And he has legs for some reason, which always freaked me out. If no one in Veggietales ever has legs, they just kind of hop around. And seeing something with legs in Veggietales, it feels so wrong. When I was little, I could not look at this thing without crying for like an hour, and I completely get why. It looks really, really weird. Then later on in the episode, Laura and Percy and Lenny, her brother, they team up and they're like, Junior, we have had it with your crap. You are not telling any more lies about us. And Junior's like, oh, I didn't tell any lies about you. And he tries to get out of it. And then they're like, nope, Junior, we don't believe your crap anymore. But before they can do anything...
Fib?
Hi, Junior.
Now the Fib is super duper huge. And he attacks Junior. And it's really scary. Also, for some reason, the sky is like purple now. I'm not really sure why this is. I think they were trying to go for like a Tim Burton Batman aesthetic, but it just makes everything look really, really freaky. But then Junior's like, hey Fib, I thought we were friends. Why are you doing this? And the Fib is like, ha ha ha, I'm a big boy now. I don't have to listen to you, little asparagus. And then he starts smashing the building and being a menace to society. And just being like, ha 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 ha. Then LarryBoy shows up and he's like, drop the asparagus. And he's like, make me, you stupid cucumber. Then the Fib climbs up a water tower to escape LarryBoy. Even though there's not really a reason for him not to just smash LarryBoy's car like he did with the other cars. I don't know, a plot consistency isn't really a thing in Veggietales. Anyway, Larry starts like a high-speed chase towards the Fib, and he can't figure out how to stop his car, and he keeps yelling at his butler.
I'm going to run out of road! Which button is it?
The blue button! Press the blue button!
Wiper!
And even though this is supposed to be a silly scene, I specifically remember this scene being unbearable to watch. I don't think that I understood it was supposed to be funny. I just heard them yell at each other when Larry was about to crash, and it made me even more scared. It definitely doesn't help that Larry starts shouting about dying at one point. Then we get more witty dialogue from Larry.
Know what the monster is now?
What is it?
It's a lie.
What's a lie?
It is.
Which part?
The whole thing. It's a lie. The monster is a lie.
Oh my!
And the entire crowd of people gather around the water tower. This whole crowd is made up of mostly reused models from previous episodes because Big Idea, the company that made Veggietales, was mostly independent and they didn't really have a lot of money to create new models. That's not a bad thing, I just think it's worth pointing out. It's kind of funny. I think in the commentary they say that this was like the first episode to have a proper lighting department, and I just think that's really interesting. Anyway, Larry talks with his butler on ways to murder the Fib, but it turns out that Larry doesn't have any weapons. When I was little, I always assumed that the Fib was like invincible to weapons. I don't know where I got that from. It's never said in the episode. Personally, I think it would have been cooler if Larry had like a rocket launcher and just like blew up the Fib. So Larry shoots himself at the Fib, but it doesn't work. And now the Fib has Junior and LarryBoy in his clutches, and all hope is lost. Then the Fib goes on this weird monologue about how like lying is bad.
Even a little lie can get really big, really fast. And a big lie can just swallow you up. And Junior, you made a really big lie!
I love how most episodes of Veggietales had the moral be something like, you should forgive others. Don't be mean to people. Sharing is important. Then this one is like, if you lie to your parents, you will be eaten alive. The creator of Veggietales, Phil Vischer, got so many complaints about the episode that he considered taking the Veggietales title off the next LarryBoy themed episode.
This scared a few kids. Can I go on record admitting that?
Yeah.
It was a little intense.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alfred's computer is about to figure out how to kill the Fib, but then he unplugs the computer, and I remember this part like made me start screaming when I was little. I don't have super specific memories of this episode because I didn't watch it that much because it terrified me, but I remember like seeing Alfred go ah, and I was like ah! Then Larry says like goodbye everyone. It's always funny when children's characters accept their death. But then Alfred's computer does work and Junior learns to tell the truth. And he tells the truth to everyone and he murders the Fib completely.
I said Laura broke the plate and that was a lie. I said Lenny broke the plate and that was a lie too. It was me. I'm the one who did it. It was all my fault.
I think that it would just go back to being tiny like it was in the beginning, but no, it like shrinks into nothingness. Junior now has a kill count, but then Junior goes back down to see his mom and dad, and he's like, Dad, I'm really sorry about breaking your plate. And I'm just like, Junior, forget about the plate. You broke the whole town. The place is in shambles. Junior's like, I'm gonna be punished, right? And his mom is like,
I think what you've been through today was punishment enough.
Something about that line is just so creepy to me. I imagine Junior in therapy for like the rest of his life over this scarring experience over being murdered for breaking a plate. He wakes up in a cold sweat and he's like, then Larry stands dramatically on a rooftop and we see another fib land. Ooh. I remember that was so scary to me. Like my parents would be like, hey, you don't need to be scared anymore. The fib died. And I was like, no, it didn't. It came back. It's red now. According to the wiki, they were thinking about having the red fib hop around during the credits. I am so thankful they did not go through with that. I would probably still be in therapy if they did. Then there's a silly musical number and the episode is over. I remember there being like a rap number in the musical sequence. I think that might be a Mandela effect because it's not in the episode and I can't find anything about it. Overall, I don't hate this episode, even though it did scar me for a great period of my life. I think it's really funny to go back and revisit an episode that made me so scared, and I'll probably do the other LarryBoy episode as well. I never watched that one for obvious reasons, but it'll be interesting to go back through that. But until then, remember that God made you special and He loves you very much. Bye!